The Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four, specifically issue number 1, being the second most important comic book that has ever been written. Ever. That is something that I strongly feel. I'm going to give you reasons why. I feel that there is, without a shadow of a doubt, 100%, Action Comics number 1 is the greatest, most singular, important, singular. I feel that Action Comics number 1 is the single most important comic book that's ever been written, because that is where we got Superman, which sparked superheroes and comics in a big way. And without that, who knows, we might not have any of this. For me, in a second place spot, just a notch down, is going to land Fantastic Four issue number 1. Now you may be thinking to yourself, oh, here he goes again. He refuses to say that Amazing Fantasy 15 is most important. And that has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with me not being a big, huge fan of Spider-Man, and that's why I want to talk about AF-15 being the most important. It has nothing to do with that at all. What it has to do with is the fact that Fantastic Four number 1 is the reason we have a Spider-Man and X-Men and all these characters, Thor, Hulk, Black Panther, all these characters, Silver Surfer, Galactus, Doctor Doom, all these characters that we all really have grown to love. Ghost Rider, I mean all of them, every one of them. The only reason why we have these is because of Fantastic Four issue number 1. Obviously, you guys know Nick and I both started reading through the Fantastic Four this year, and he's way ahead of me, but I'm still chugging along, and I'm still really enjoying it. I know a lot of people have the opinion that the Fantastic Four is just a boring series, and, you know, that may be turning a lot of people off from reading it, and I thought that too. I thought that too for a long time, but I've gotten to where this is absolutely my favorite thing. My favorite thing. Ghost Rider. You know what? Ghost Rider is great. I love Ghost Rider. I love Ghost Rider in the comics. Love the movies. Love the character. But he's not number 1. This guy right here, you guys know. You guys know how much I love this character. See ya. Captain America is out of the number 1 spot. Fantastic Four owns the number 1 spot for my absolute favorite character in comic books. And it is a team, so I guess it's more than one character. If I had to pick one character out of that I love more than any of them, it is obviously the Thing. And I'm really happy to be able to say that they're my favorites, especially because it is a love that grew from reading the stories. Now, to get back to what I was actually talking about, why Fantastic Four number 1 and why the Fantastic Four series as a whole is so important to comic books. I watched a documentary not too long ago about Stan Lee, where he was talking about how he got into Marvel and working with the bullpen, and then he lost a lot of the guys from the bullpen, and it ended up just being basically him again by himself. And he got to the point where he was getting extremely frustrated, very frustrated and unhappy with what he was doing. And he was speaking to his wife saying, I think I'm just going to quit. I'm done. And, she told him, which is such an awesome thing that she said, being an awesome, supportive wife, having her husband's back. She told him, she said, Stan, if you're going to leave, at least write one book. Write one book that you want to write. Just one. What's the worst that can happen? They fire you? You just said you want to quit anyway. So at least you can say you got to put what you wanted to in your work one time, and then if you're not happy, you can quit. If they don't like it and they fire you, no big deal, no harm, no foul. So what did Stan Lee do? He created the Fantastic Four. Created the Fantastic Four in 1962. Which I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe it was the first title that was released as a superhero title. Mind you, the first superhero title released under Marvel Comics. Now, we know that we had Timely Comics, and then we had Marvel Mystery Comics, or it was Marvel something comics. But when it finally changed to Marvel Comics, Fantastic Four was one of the first things we got. And that is what blew the Silver Age open. And that is what put Marvel Comics on the map. Obviously, when they were writing Timely, we had things like Submariner and the Human Torch, and we had Captain America, but that was all under Timely and Atlas. So this was huge as we get Marvel Comics, The Fantastic Four in 1962. Now again, going back to why this book is so important to be number 2 above all these other things. Because if Stan Lee had not taken that chance, if he had not taken the chance and chose to do that one book before he either quit or got fired or whatever, if he hadn't went out on the limb and chose to go with Fantastic Four, then we would not have any of this. There would be no Stan Lee. There might not be a Jack the King Kirby. Now he was working on other stuff. Jack Kirby, possibly could have made a name at DC immediately. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I know Jack Kirby was already doing comics for a long time, but I don't know that if there never would have been the Fantastic Four, Amazing Spider-Man, the Hulk, Thor, all these things Jack Kirby worked on in the Silver Age that really, really showcased what he can do. Not just on the covers, but the interiors. I feel like his work in the Silver Age is what really elevated him to King Kirby. And Stan Lee thought so too, because it was, I don't know that he was actually referred to as Jack the King Kirby until Stan Lee started putting it into the credits at the beginning of the books in the Silver Age. And I could be wrong there. If I am, type a comment and let me know. So without the Fantastic Four being a successful issue, without Fantastic Four #1 being a big hit, and slowly they started drumming out more issues of the Fantastic Four, and it really caught on. People loved it. People loved these new heroes we get, where you can see that these heroes are still human. They deal with regular people problems. They deal with not being able to pay their bills, not being able to get their car to crank, and just regular folks' problems. And that was something we hadn't seen in these big superheroes a lot up to this point, and people really loved that, and they really gravitated towards it. And with the success of the Fantastic Four, we got the Incredible Hulk, and we got Spider-Man, and then we got Daredevil, and so on and so on and so on, until the Marvel Comics universe had expanded so much that we were able to find that anyone could find a character in that universe that they could relate to and that they loved. And where did that all come from? It all came from Stan Lee taking a leap of faith and writing Fantastic Four issue #1. So if you are a big Spider-Man fan, you got to give the credit to Fantastic Four issue #1. Doesn't matter what Marvel superhero you're into, unless it's Captain America, Namor, or the original Human Torch, you got to give the credit to Fantastic Four issue #1 as far as I'm concerned. I'd love to hear some comments from you guys, or see some comments, I guess, from you guys on your thoughts about that. I almost feel like, up to that point, Stan Lee wasn't even Stan Lee. So did Stan Lee create Fantastic Four, or did the Fantastic Four create Stan Lee? Another interesting thing I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on. Let me know what you guys think, because I've just really been thinking about this. All the cosmic stuff that's going on right now that everyone has really been enjoying over the last several years in modern comic books, that all stems from the Fantastic Four. There's so many characters that came through the Fantastic Four through the first 100 issues that have just grown and grown to be people's favorites and characters that we all love. And all of that stems from this first wonderful series by Marvel Comics, the Fantastic Four, and because Stan Lee took that leap of faith on issue #1. This is my argument for that being the second most important comic book ever written. Now, why did I not pick Batman and go with Detective Comics, I feel like that still runs kind of being a DC title. I feel like Fantastic Four, it launched a competitor. It launched an entire universe of other characters. Now Batman did the same thing with a bunch of other characters, but when you look at the impact that Batman had as far as bringing in new characters and throwing all of these new characters in people's lives, it's very minuscule compared to Marvel Comics as a whole. And I love Batman. I love Batman so much. I think Detective Comics is definitely, in my opinion, probably number 3. Following Detective Comics, I would probably say Amazing Fantasy 15. And rounding out number 5, people might disagree, and probably a lot of you will, but I would say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 1. Because that was something that really sparked independent comics, and it sparked a franchise that reaches so far beyond comic books to the point where our kids now love these turtles, and probably people all around the world love these turtles and have no idea it even came from a comic book. So just to give you a little quick top 5, I'd love to hear you guys disagree, because I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me in thinking Fantastic Four issue number 1 deserves that number 2 spot. But I it's just something that I've thought about, and I've put a lot of thought into, and I've had conversations with people recently about it. And I just, I felt strongly about it, so I wanted to share it with you guys and see what you thought. Please drop me a comment and let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. We really appreciate that. We like to see the interaction with you guys. And if you're not subscribed to the channel and you're enjoying the content, please hit that button. It doesn't cost you a dime. Just make sure that when you are scrolling through your feed on your YouTube app, you get to see this a little more, pop up a little more as you're scrolling. That's all that subscribe button does. So guys, hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. And as always, collect your way.